Hello and welcome. My name is James Taylor, hypnotherapist, counsellor and life coach from number 1 Harley Street in London. The other day I broke my little toe and I was walking from one room to another and I wasn't really looking where I was going. I had nothing on my feet and my foot bashed against the door frame. I heard a crack and when I looked down at my toe it was sticking out at a funny angle. Now, there's not much you can really do with a broken little toe, so after feeling quite sorry for myself and shouting I was in pain, I got my toe and I basically taped it to the next toe as a bit of support. And now my toe is a lovely range of colours. I won't show you an image of it because I don't want to traumatise you, but it got me thinking that what I did to my toe by supporting it in some way, I also do that with clients. And by that I mean, if clients come to me who feel a bit bashed up or beaten or bruised or broken, or even like my toe was pointing in the wrong direction, what I do, I try and act as a bit like a splint and to be with them and to support them through the process. And then in the end, they don't, just like my little toe won't need to be taped to my other toe, the splint can be removed and the toe is where it should be and the client is where they should be as well. Now, most of the time clients come to me, it's about habits, and habits control everything that we do without realizing that they do. So you tie your shoelaces the same way, you brush your teeth the same way. You might start off on the bottom and work your way around and then go to the top. You might drive to work the same way every day. You might walk to the train station. You might go to the supermarket and go the same route every single time. We all have patterns and habits. Now, I want to try and show you something, and I want you to do this with me if it's okay. What I'd like you to do is interlock your fingers the way you normally do it. And notice if it's your left finger on top or if it's your right finger on top. Now, whichever one it is, it doesn't really matter. But what I'd like you to do is to open your hands and change it so it's now the other finger is on top. And just hold your hands like that just for a second. Now, you may notice that feels peculiar, uncomfortable, you don't like it, whatever it may be. So just change it back to how you normally have it. Now it feels normal, okay? Now, how you have your fingers together is not going to change the world, but it's just a habit, and it's a habit that you unconsciously just do. A bit like you might whip your laces together before you go out really, really quick. You're not consciously thinking about it. But what about if you've got a habit that is not very beneficial, that doesn't really help you, that might even hold you back? And a lot of the clients I have, whether it's hypnotherapy clients, counselling or life coaching, there's something going on that is stopping them being where they should be. A bit like my little toe was pointing in the wrong direction. It needs to be brought back in alignment. So I'd like to explain this by way of a little story, and I want you to try this exercise out that I'm going to suggest. Okay? Now, the exercise goes on for a number of days, but I'll explain what it means. If you think for a second about very fertile soil, what happens is whatever you plant in the soil doesn't care. It will just grow it. So if you want to grow potatoes, that's what you plant. If you want to grow carrots, that's what you plant, the seeds. Now, because the soil is very fertile, it doesn't care what is planted within it. And because of that, you can grow corn, and right next to it you could grow a poison like deadly nightshade. Now, they would grow in abundance, and as soon as the gestation period was over, you would go there and you would see a load of corn, and right next to it you'd see a load of deadly nightshade. Well, the mind is like that, but much more powerful than this fertile soil. So if you plant positive things in your mind, and you plant negative things in your mind, just like the soil, the mind does not care. It will grow either or both in abundance. And that's why sometimes you might feel really positive, other times you might feel quite negative, and sometimes both throughout the day. So that's a bit of a habit that we get into, a bit like with the fingers. So here's an exercise to try and change that habit, because you wasn't born, you were born without any habits at all, and everything you've learned to do has become so natural, it's become a habit. Well, if you can learn one habit, you can disregard it and learn another. So here's an exercise that I'd like you to try, and it involves you consciously doing something, making sure that you become very, very aware of how you're thinking. Now, what I'd like you to do for the next 30 days, I'd like you to be consciously aware of what it is that you're thinking about. Now, there's been studies done that we have a range of approximately 60,000 thoughts a day. I think that's a bit low, actually. I think we probably have a lot more than that. But all these thoughts, when people talk about, hearing voices in their head, we've all got this voice in our head all day long. It's the other side of us, and it's like a little monkey, and it's chattering to us, saying this, saying that. We're having this conversation as we're walking along. So men can multitask because we can walk and talk and breathe and be still having this little monkey chattering around in the background. So here's what I'd like you to do. I want you to be very, very consciously aware of what it is that you're thinking of. And every time you think something positive, become aware of it. But every time you think of something negative, become aware of it and make a conscious decision. And this is the conscious bit. Make a conscious decision to stop thinking a negative thought about that thing. Now, that's easier said than done. And this may take a little bit, I'm aware, it may take a little bit of practice and a bit of time to get into this. Now, it's okay to think it because we're human and we're going to think these things. But the idea is that you consciously decide to not let that affect your happiness, your calm, your inner peace, whatever it may be. Now, I want you to do that for 30 days continuous. But if it all becomes too much on one particular day, if these negative thoughts overwhelm you and you think, this is just being too much for today, I'm tired of this, the next day you're back on day one. Okay? Now, don't be disheartened by this for those of you that are going to try it, and I recommend that you do. For those of you who learn to ride a bike, when you were learning to ride a bike, you might have ridden it for a short amount of time and then you'd lose your balance and you might fall off. But then the next time you got on the bike, you would be able to go a little bit further perhaps, and then you might fall off. And each time a little bit further and a little bit further. And in the end, the times you fell off the bike or lost your balance became less and less and less. And the times that you were able to regain your balance and stay with your balance became more and more and more. So this is a new technique and a new habit. So for 30 days, I want you to try this. And remember, be honest with yourself. You're not going to kid anyone apart from yourself. If one day becomes too much, then don't beat yourself up over this. This is a new habit and a new technique that you're going to try and learn. So if it doesn't work on one day, the next day you're back on day one. Now, I'll be honest, when I tried this, I got partway through and a few times I had to start from day one. So, and I've been studying this stuff for a long, long time. So don't be disheartened if you don't get it right first time. In fact, I'd be surprised, very surprised if you did. Whatever happens, if you're happy to, you can share the comments in the comment section below, share your thoughts. And in the description below will be all the links to my social media sites and my website. And if you'd like to get in touch for whatever reason, you can either do that via them links, or I'll put my phone number within there, or I'll put it on the screen of this recording. But that's my top tip about my broken toe, which is going to get better, and about how you can take a positive action on what you think, because what you think affects how you feel, and how you feel affects how you behave. So I'll say that again: what you think affects how you feel, and what you feel affects how you behave. So I want you to grab this by the horns and start being consciously aware of what you think and deciding whether you're going to be positive or negative. So the best of luck. My very best wishes. My name is James Taylor. Speak soon. Bye bye.